All right, and we are live here, Seattle VR/AR Association. I'm Sarah Klein, got my partner in crime, Kirby Shibaga, and happy to have Sean Ong joining us today to talk to us about Byldr. We are going to start everything off the same way we usually do, just tell you a little bit about us. We are your Seattle chapter of the VR/AR Association, which is a global association dedicated to VR and AR technologies. And we are looking to share all of our knowledge and wisdom, perform experiments that push the boundaries of XR, and provide opportunities to be an active part of the global XR community to our Seattle community. If you're interested in joining us on a more formal basis, please email Kirby or myself. We'll give you our details later. Something we should definitely keep in mind as we're going through this, we do have a code of conduct. This is a safe space for everybody to be here. Please be nice. If you have any questions about being nice, please see the code of conduct at this web address here. So we're here to grow, learn, and connect, and that's exactly what we're going to facilitate tonight with Byldr, learning how to do development in headset, which is going to be amazing. The association is the Global Association for Virtual and Augmented Reality, and it is really helpful for helping you grow, expand your knowledge, and all of your connections. If you would like to know more, please see theverara.com. Talk to Kirby, talk to me. You can catch us on Twitter. The ecosystem is amazing. We've got 4,400 plus companies, brands, and schools, over 70 chapters, tons of industry committees from everything from e-commerce to security to WebXR, you name it. Over 30,000 professionals that you get access to, and a huge community online, LinkedIn, Slack, Twitter, etc. But probably one of the greatest things is you can do equipment rentals. So that HoloLens you've had your eye on but can't get, you can rent one and do all the development you want. So just a few of the perks of joining us at the VR/AR Association. And Kirby's going to take it off from here.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And thank you, everyone who's joined us for the live stream. We're excited here for 2021. Lots of activity already in the works. The next two webinars are booked, so we're looking forward to it. So tonight we have Sean Ong with us. He will be presenting, as Sarah said, about Byldr. And let me just introduce him to you very quickly. Then I'm going to ask him a few questions, like a very short interview style. So Sean is the founder of Ong Innovations. He's a HoloLens and VR developer. He's into a lot of things on the technology side, very impressive. Energy, product developer. He's also an author. I remember, I'm pretty sure that was the very first HoloLens book that came out that you wrote. One of the first on being a HoloLens developer. And he also has a very active YouTube channel. So Sean, welcome to Seattle VR/ARA.
Thank you very much, Kirby. Definitely very happy to be here and excited to talk about Byldr to everyone watching today.
Great. And actually what I didn't mention is you used to be the Seattle chapter president.
I did, yeah. So that was back before I moved to Austin, Texas, and now I'm back in Seattle again. But yeah, I was a Seattle VR/ARA chapter president back in, I think, 2017 and first part of 2018. And then in 2018, I moved to Austin, Texas, where I was involved with the VR/ARA chapter down over there, and then moved back to the Seattle area in 2019, yeah.
Nice.
Numbers, eh?
Yeah.
So
very brief stint as a Texan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, you mentioned two great cities there, two great states in the US, but you actually travel quite a bit worldwide with work. So,
yes.
What are some of the highlights there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's I've been one of the amazing things about the XR industry is it's really a global industry, and it's I want to say there's hot spots here and there, but really they're all over, and so travel is definitely a big part of being in the industry. it actually got to the point where it was maybe a little bit too much. So 2020, for all the things that we're super sad about, one tiny silver lining is that my travel was reduced, which is a good thing, to kind of stay put, stay safe, and keep everyone safe. So yeah, definitely happy about that.
Great. Yeah, so I think like a lot of people then, maybe that sparked more ideas for online collaboration tools,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been seeing a huge growth in that recently. One of the tools that co-founder Sky Joe and I have developed is called MR Expo. It's meant to be kind of like an online expo platform. So we're actually going to do another hands-on Byldr learning session in that later in January. So I'll talk about that towards the end. But yeah, I've been seeing tons of stuff come up with AltSpace VR. I was in another tool called Verbella just a couple days ago with Bellevue College here. They've got their online campus there. So I've been seeing all of these different platforms popping up, kind of serving different needs in this new kind of digital and remote workforce and digital and remote kind of collaboration. And yeah, it's been exciting to see kind of the acceleration of that for sure. We've all known it's been coming for a while. The dream's been there for the last few years, but 2020 has definitely accelerated that. And I think it's for the better. We save on airfare, we save on hotel costs, we save on time. Things are more efficient. Nothing takes the place of meeting in person, of course, but there's, I'd say a whole lot of efficiencies to be realized, with online collaboration.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm really very excited to hear about Byldr, and I think we should get into that right now. And please, anybody that's watching in here, if you do have questions, type them into the YouTube chat, and we'll respond to them in due time. So here we go. Fantastic.
All right. So, hello, everyone. Definitely very happy to be talking about Byldr. Byldr is actually, you know what? Before I dive in, because I could immediately start talking, rather than me telling you what Byldr is, because you might have this question like, what is Byldr? Let me show a quick video intro, which is kind of fun. And then after that kind of 1 minute intro video, then I'll really dive into tell the details. Let me go ahead and start this over here. All right. So that was just a quick little teaser for, kind of what Byldr looks like. And I'll dive into a lot deeper details on what that is. And I'll even give you guys kind of a hands-on demo during this presentation. So just really quick, Byldr is an in-headset XR app development platform, kind of a low-code, no-code app development platform. What I'm going to be talking about today is I'm going to take a step back, zoom out a little bit, and talk about where our XR future is going. So we've experienced tremendous growth in recent years, especially in the last year in XR. So we'll talk a little bit about, where we've come and where we're headed, and talking about some of the challenges that we're going to face, as the industry continues to grow and as the world becomes more and more accustomed and even reliant on XR. And then I'll give a deeper introduction to Byldr. I'll go over some of the features and some of the history behind Byldr, give a demonstration, and then after that, I'll open it for Q&A. Of course, if you have any questions that are super pressing that can't wait to the end, by all means, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kirby is going to be looking at those, and you guys are welcome to interrupt me at any time during my presentation, and happy to give any clarifications. All right. So our XR future, this is something that I firmly believe is that XR, AR and VR technologies is not just an accessory. It's not just something that is going to be augmenting our technology, but instead, I really firmly believe that XR represents kind of the next phase of computing, and that the future of computing will be predominantly done in AR and VR. My personal belief is it'll be more AR than VR. If you think about it, we are still kind of at the very end of what I call the dark ages of computing. Computers themselves have not really been around that long. You travel back in time 100 years ago, and they were virtually nowhere to be found. In the history of society, 100 years is not a long time. You travel back even 50 years, and you see the dawn of computers. And where we are right now is, we're kind of hunkered over a laptop or a desktop. We're looking at a screen all day. In fact, 2D screens are starting to dominate our lives. Everything is moving onto this 2D screen. And to me, that is really, that's not a good thing. To me, that's kind of a sad thing, right? Our bodies were never meant to just be sitting kind of 8 hours a day, hunkered over a 2D screen. Everything is kind of being consumed by this 2D screen. Our maps, our music, our photos, our videos, you mentioned communication and collaboration, and even look at us, here we are doing a meeting, and this is all, in front of a screen, and we're sitting and we're not being very active. And, this trend is continuing, and it can only go so far, so I really believe we're at the tail end of the dark ages of computing, which is a very unnatural, unhuman way of interacting. I mean, granted, kudos to the human race. We've done a great job training ourselves to learn how to, type on a keyboard and use a mouse to look at a little white cursor on a screen. And, we've really gone out of our way to learn to operate on this type of device. However, I believe that with XR technology, we're finally going to humanize computing the way that it was always meant to be. We're going to not bring ourselves into the digital world, no, but we're going to bring the digital world out into the physical world. We're going to be able to use our hands. I really believe hand tracking is super important. We're going to be able to grab things. We're going to be able to walk. We'll be able to move things. All of our computing is going to increasingly move into this XR space so that we can be humans again, right? We're not just brains in a jar just sitting and looking at a screen, but we can really build things the way that we were meant to build things. So I really believe this XR future is coming, and not just coming, but it's already here and starting to dominate different parts of the industries. We're starting to see a lot of transformation. We're starting to see a lot of disruption in a few sectors, looking at what's happening on the training front, looking at what's happening on some visualization front, on some design fronts. You're starting to even hear like filmmaking is starting to leverage AR and VR technology more and more, prototyping. So, the list goes on and on. So we're starting to, slowly chip away. But for such a huge transition, it's going to take, of course, some time. But I do believe that is going to happen. So recognizing that this is an inevitable kind of wave or tsunami that's coming, it's like, okay, this transition has to happen. It should happen. It's a good thing for it to happen. What are some of the challenges and barriers that we face between where we are now and where we're headed? So challenges on the XR road. Well, I've been in the XR industry since the HoloLens 1 was first announced, and been building applications. And one thing that I've learned is app creation. XR app creation is really time consuming, and the barrier to entry is frustratingly high. I was last year around this time, I was at a MIT hackathon, XR hackathon. We had all sorts of devices there, Magic Leap, HoloLens. We had mobile AR and VR. We had all sorts of companies coming, and even with experts represented from each of these companies there to help students. These were very smart students. A lot of them were software engineers. It still took about a day and a half before anybody could even really write their first line of code just to get your environment set up. There are so many variables. There are so many settings that you have to check. There's so many requirements. There's so many SDKs you've got to install. There's so many is this settings in Windows checked? Or, hey, when you installed Visual Studio, did you make sure to hit these 20 things? Or, oh, you forgot, to turn on USB, IP over USB. I could go on. And then you get into Unity or you get into Unreal. And then, there's so many things that you have to do that for somebody who's really excited, somebody new who's like, hey, I see VR, Oculus Quest is amazing, HoloLens 2 is amazing, and they want to go and try and make an app, the barrier of entry for them to get from the point of like, hey, what is this new VR technology I want in, to the time when they can actually start creating apps is actually very, very high. And so, over the last few years, as I've been developing a lot of these enterprise applications for a wide range of industries, I've noticed that, man, number one, it's really hard for me to find talent to do these app development. It's very rare to find them, and to train people from the ground up is challenging because of the complexity. And I was thinking, if this XR future is going to be realized, if this XR future is going to happen, and we want it to happen not in 100 years, or maybe not in 50 years, but maybe we want it to happen, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 years, the barrier to entry has got to come way, way down in order for anybody around the world to be able to be part of this transformation. That's the other thing that I wanted to touch on is, what I've been noticing is there's starting to be kind of almost like a divide that's growing, right? As more and more of our world is becoming digital, and more of our world is becoming complex. I've been noticing that the need for technical expertise and technical experience is growing, and demand for software engineers, demand for those technical people with technical skills is growing, and really outpacing kind of the resources that the human race has, right? Because the barrier to entry is so high. So you see people, making very high salaries, which is fantastic, but we're seeing this wealth gap growing, where we've got, lots and lots of poor in the world, and then a few that have very, very high salaries, and that's continuing to grow and grow and grow. And we're definitely on an unsustainable path. So, part of what I wanted to do with Byldr is make XR app development accessible to everyone, to make it so that you don't need to learn how to code. You don't need to learn C#. You don't need to be a computer genius to even get your computer set up to start creating apps in the first place, and to make it more human, right? If I ask a friend, hey, can you help me go build my fence? And it's easy. You grab the wood, you grab the hammer, you grab the nails, you start putting it together. Even if it's sloppy the first time, that's fine. It's easy to pick up, and you learn about it. You can hone in your skills over time. It's a very hands-on human experience. I wanted app development in XR to be as easy as that, and kind of bringing it back to what feels human. So here's Byldr's promise, PC-free development. So again, I'm a firm believer that we are living in the dark ages of computing, and we're moving into making computing more human again. And what that means is that Byldr is not a 2D screen. It's not a web browser. It's not a web app development. You can't make it on your computer. If you want to make an XR app, the best place to actually make an XR app is in XR. You see exactly how the size of stuff, you see exactly where it is. It's 3D. You don't have to be confused about perspective or, hey, where is this? How big is this in real life? How far? No, you put on the headset. You see everything exactly as it's going to be built. If you want to create a table, or if you want to create a menu, you literally just drag it with your hands, and you drag the buttons, you put them on, you set them up. You can bring in a piece of equipment. You can bring in anatomy model. You can bring in all of these different things using your bare hands. If you want to use controllers, you can on VR devices. But the intention is, as these technologies get more and more sophisticated in the future, moving to be able to just use your hands, use your eyes, use kind of what's intuitive to start creating this. Very low barrier to entry, right? I don't want you to have to go to, training for 4 years before you can even pick this up. It's got to have a very low barrier to entry, but of course, extremely expandable. So if you want to become an expert in it, if you want to really dive deep and go deep, of course, yeah, you can have a lot of runway there, but the barrier to entry, regardless, should be extremely low. Human-centric creation experience, like I mentioned earlier, being able to walk, being able to stretch, being able to move and craft your experience in XR as you would build something in the real world, right? That's why we call it Byldr. It's about building this, in a human-centric way. So, that said, I'm saying all these things that, like, it's obvious. The reason why tools like this are hard to come by, and the reason why if you're a developer right now, you're probably not using one of these tools to do it, is because it's actually a hard problem. There's a lot of SDKs, there's a lot of APIs, there's a lot of versions, there's a lot of stuff that breaks when new stuff comes out, especially with XR, because it is such a new industry and things are coming out all the time. I mean, if you think about the HoloLens 1 was announced in 2015, and it was made available to buy in 2016. That's 5 years ago. That's not a long time ago. After that, something came out in 2017. Something came out called AR Core and AR Kit, mobile AR. It's everywhere now. So you might think, oh yeah, that's been around forever. No, it's only about 3-4 years old. It's not. The industry, when you look back over the last 5 years, is accelerating super fast. The Oculus Quest was just released in 2019. They came out with the Oculus Quest 2 in 2020. And, now you're starting to hear everyone get it. So in the last, we're actually living and breathing in this really amazing boom right now in the XR industry. But with that comes so many different changes, so many different APIs, so many different SDKs that are constantly being updated all the time. And when something gets updated, stuff breaks. So we take care of all of that on the Byldr side. So you don't have to worry about any of that. If you want an Azure Spatial Anchor, boom, put it in. If you want to bring in 3D maps from Bing, boom, just drop it in. Use your hands to drop it in. You don't have to worry about anything. If you want artificial intelligence voice recognition technology, you don't have to set anything up. You don't have to you get keys and this and that. It's very simple. You just use your hands to build it in. And I could go on, but we take care of all the hard stuff for you on the back end, so that all you have to do is just worry and focus on being creative and letting your creative juices flow, and not have to be bogged down by all the other stuff that in traditional app development, that's the stuff that takes the time. The fun part that's creative is like maybe 5 or 10%. And then you spend 95% kind of pulling out your hair because the app development's so hard, and it makes it not so fun anymore. Well, Byldr is making app development fun again, because it's making it now so that 100% of your time can be spent on the creativity and the actual building together. So sharing is caring. So I really believe that just like our real world is a social world, right? Everything that we do is built around kind of social experiences. I do believe that it is very sad if VR is an isolated world. It's very sad if AR is an isolated world. If you give somebody a headset and they're the only ones that can see that content, and that's really sad. There's a disconnect there. So Byldr is multi-user, has multi-user first top of mind. So you can create multi-user apps, right out of the box, and it's easy to create a multi-user app. Instead of having to spend days or weeks, importing all these SDKs and setting them up just right, it's literally just a single toggle that you press in the settings menu. And not only that, but collaborative building, being able to, let's say, have 5 people, and each with different headsets. Somebody might be on a HoloLens 2, somebody might be on a Quest 2, and it's like, hey, we're in a room, or we're remote. Maybe you're in Japan, I'm here in the US, somebody's in England. Let's build together. Let's build this app together, and you can kind of collaboratively build together. So that, to me, makes AR and VR, XR much more human, is the ability for it to be a shared experience from the building of it all the way to how users experience it in the final app. So we've spent a lot of time building Byldr. It's a couple years in the making now, in the form that it is right now, but its roots actually go back even further when I started putting together some prefabs in Unity to make things easy for people to kind of maybe have multi-user experiences, and made it easy for people to do other things that were complex. But we really needed to go a step beyond that. So these are some of the features that we've been putting in. It's not an exhaustive list, it's just a selective list. And I won't go into extreme detail on each of these, but let me just read a few of these out. Hand tracking, you don't have to worry about the complexities of setting up hand tracking. It just works straight out of the box. Creating multi-user experience, I touched on that already. Collaborative buildings, the ability to import your own 3D models, not only when you're building stuff. So when you're building stuff, you want to import your own 3D models, but you can also allow the app that you create to import 3D models. So you can offer 3D model importers or visualizers to your end clients or your end users. OneDrive import tool. You can use Byldr as a 3D modeling tool. So export scenes to model tool. So you can build something really nice. You can shape something. You can add in a whole bunch of your 3D models, and then you hit the export button, and now you've got a nice 3D model that you can share with somebody. So you can totally use it as a prototyping or creation tool if you want to. Shader and texture tools, if you want different shaders, if you want stuff to look transparent, or if you want stuff to look shiny, or we've got a tool for that to change the color or change the texture. You can set up custom voice commands in your application. AI-powered speech to text, that's powered by Azure. 3D maps, that's powered by Bing Maps SDK. We've got Mixed Reality Toolkit. This is built on top of Mixed Reality Toolkit, so you get all the cool stuff that comes with Mixed Reality Toolkit, like bounding boxes. You've got the ability to have solvers, which is not on the list over here. And you can change physics settings, skybox settings. There's the ability for you to put in your own logic, so you can set up triggers. Hey, do I want to trigger this by pressing it or by saying a voice command, or do I want to trigger it some other way? And then you can apply actions to those triggers. Okay, when I press a button, what do I want it to do? Do I want it to turn on and off something, or do I want it to start an animation? You can actually record your own animations. So you can import 3D models that have animations built in. If you have, let's say, a 3D artist that's already created a 3D model with a built-in animation, or you can take your own 3D models that have no animations, and you can animate them, record that animation, and then play that back. So we've got that. We support multiple scenes. We support sharing builds to other people. And then We also support building your project to an APK or an AppX. So that's like if you want an app package to publish to a store, or if you want to, if you're creating an enterprise application that you're wanting to deliver to the client, you can have them look at it through Byldr if you want to, but you don't have to. You can actually build it as a native app package, and they don't even have to know that it was created with Byldr. You can just send them the app package, and they will be amazed. It'll function just like a native HoloLens 2 app or a native Oculus Quest app, and you didn't have to write a single line of code. So, again, I won't go through. I could spend hours and hours and hours. We do have a bunch of YouTube videos. Shout out to Elsie Gomez, who put together our YouTube training videos for Byldr. Great content. I highly recommend you check that out. So now I want to kind of dive into a fairly quick demo. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to create a science museum, an interactive science museum. And you might be panicking right now. You might be saying, whoa, like we don't have 4 hours, Sean, or we don't have 4 days or 4 months. No, I'm going to show you how to do a science museum in Byldr, which surprisingly you can do in just 15 minutes. The video I'm going to show is 7 minutes. And to be honest, if you're using any other platform, 15 minutes is about the time that when you press build and it compiles your program and you're going to grab coffee because it's taking so long, right? So in that time, you can actually build a whole museum. So I'm going to show that. Kirby, if we can make this full screen, then I'll go ahead and start that. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a VR museum experience. So the first thing I want to do is open up my Create menu. And then I want to go into Import so that I can import the custom models that I had previously uploaded to the web portal. So let's start out with a podium. Let's download this. Okay, so I've got my podium here. Let's go ahead and size it. You can see the color's a little bit off, but no worries. We'll take care of that in just a moment. I can open up the colors and materials section and change this to a nice blue glow. All right, so next we want to import another model that can be on top of the podium. Let's do a model of a DNA helix. So wait for that to load in, and fantastic. All right, so let's see, where do we want to put these? Let's go ahead and put all of the podiums that we want to create by the wall. Can go ahead and put the DNA. Now they're a little bit far away. If I was in a large enough area, I could walk there, but good thing I've got teleportation built in here. So now I can just teleport over. Go ahead and resize it. I love the hand tracking. It just makes manipulation and movements so much easier, whether you're doing it directly or at a distance using far interaction. And this is all powered, of course, by the MRTK, which has fantastic user experience. All right, so we got the DNA helix at the right size. Let's go ahead and place it in the right place. Now I'm going to do the same a few more times with some other 3D models of other exhibits. So I'm going to make more of those podiums, which you can see here. I've done that. Let's go ahead and put in a 3D model of an atom. You can see the protons, neutrons, the electrons kind of flying around there. All right, let's go ahead and put that just so. Here's another 3D model looking at the cross section of a volcano. All right, let's go ahead and put this on the podium. Size it just right. So I've created a few of these podiums, and the last one we'll do is the cross section of a cell. All right, so here we go. Let's put the cell up here on this last podium, adjust it just right. Fantastic. Now I want to show you something else. If I move the podium, the cell won't move with it. But what I can actually do for each of these podiums is I can parent objects. So I've chosen the cell and I want to parent it to the podium that is right under it. So you can see these are all the list of objects. Let's scroll down a little bit and select the proper parent. And once I select that, now if I were to move the podium, you can see the cell moves with it. So I can group objects together as I'm building. I can also pin objects so that in case I didn't want to move the podium by accident, you can pin it in place. That way it makes the building process easier. Fantastic. Here is the beautiful beginning of my science museum. This was made extremely fast with Byldr. I can make adjustments on the fly, and I can visualize what it's going to look like in real time without having to build it to the device. All right, one other thing, let's go ahead and do a little physics playground. So let's put down here a little folding table. And let's go ahead and put a few objects, because I want people to be able to feel kind of how objects react to physics. Let's go ahead and color some of these objects. I'm going to drop in a few cubes in here. Later on, I'll drop in a cylinder, and I'll also drop in a sphere. And just for fun, we're going to go ahead and color these with different colors. We'll have pink, green, yellow. Let's just make a nice little array of colors so that we can just make this look a little bit more fun. I can also clone objects. You can see I've created one and then I cloned it. That way I can have a copy of it. All right. Just change the color on this object right over here. Now keep in mind, these right now are just objects. There's no physics or anything attached to them yet, but I will show you in just a moment how to add some physics to it. All right, I've got some primitives in there, got them nice and colored. Now I'm going to go and select each object and go to the physics menu and turn on gravity for each. All right, so now let's do the same thing for all of the other objects. To save time, I won't show all of them. I'll just show a couple of them here. All right, so now I've got gravity turned on, but I can't grab them. This is in preview mode right now. The reason why is because I need to enable movement, or the ability to grab and move with hands on these objects. So let's go into the settings for the object, and let's check the movable checkbox. All right. So there's a whole bunch of settings in here for how you interact with objects. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for all of these objects. I'm going to make them all movable. Now let's check it out now. Okay, great. I can move it, but it still doesn't quite feel natural, because when I'm rotating my wrist, they don't really move. Well, that's because the rotation right now is locked with a single hand, right? But you can see here, physics is working great. Gravity is working great. It's falling on the table. The collisions are fantastic. It's all looking very nice, but I do want to be able to grab the objects and have them rotate with my hands. So let's go ahead into the settings one more time under the interaction settings for each object. And I'm going to go and look at the manipulation type, or sorry, the one hand rotation for near. You can look at it for near interaction, far interaction. I'm going to have it rotate around the grab point. All of these settings are actually tied to the MRTK settings for each of these objects. Okay, now you can see here, it's rotating around the grab point. So I can grab it and really feel like I am holding a cube and looking at it. And all of these settings are exposed using the Byldr menu. And this is just fantastic, because the build time, the time it takes to actually prototype and experience, you can see in just a few minutes, you can create something that would normally take a very long time in another engine. Here's an example of another built-in tool that we have for 3D maps. So you can actually import Bing Maps 3D, all built in. You don't have to worry about importing any SDKs. You don't have to worry about build errors, whether it's compatible with a platform or not. All of the settings are exposed during our with our menu, and this works automatically. If you build it in Quest, it's going to automatically work on HoloLens 2 and vice versa. So this really drastically reduces iteration time. It drastically reduces the level of skill required to put together these experiences. You can focus all of your efforts on the experience, on the UI, on the design. You can import your own buttons, import your own graphics. Here is a quick example showing how to set up triggers. So you can set up actions and triggers. In this example, we're actually going to press a button and then cause flowers to grow and shrink from each one. So you can see we have a whole system in here for easily hooking up logic. So you can go through and just hook up logic, which is object-based. So now you can see, press the button, and then the flowers all disappear. I'm going to press the button again, and now you can see all the flowers are growing. So simple logic, advanced logic, it's really up to your imagination. Okay. All right. So can you guys hear me, Sarah and Kirby? I think I am. I think people can hear me. So yeah, that was kind of the beginnings of a science museum, and you could kind of see it being put together live. By the way, I do want to say that flower experience at the end, we do have a complete YouTube video tutorial on how to set up the triggers and the actions for that. So you're more than welcome to check out the Byldr YouTube channel. And we've got a YouTube video tutorial on that, courtesy of LC Gomez. So there you go. So that's Byldr. That's the vision behind Byldr and kind of where we're taking it. We've got a ton of features that we would love to put in and that we're looking to put in. The roadmap is pretty hefty, but we're really excited to be on this journey. It's very exciting, and we would definitely love for anybody who's interested to check it out and give us feedback. We do have the beta versions available now on SideQuest. You can download it for free on SideQuest for the Oculus Quest, or you can download it from the Microsoft Store for the HoloLens 2. And then, of course, it's coming to other stores soon, such as the Oculus Store and maybe even Steam VR. A few things coming. Also wanted to mention, so you've seen my contact info. Feel free to email me if you would like to contact me. There's my LinkedIn and my Twitter as well. Also, I mentioned at the very beginning of this, but I'm going to be hosting a live kind of hands-on Byldr session in MR Expo. So definitely stay tuned. If you follow me on Twitter or send me an email, I will be providing information on how to register for that, and would love to meet you there in MR Expo as well, which is our online expo and collaboration platform. Great. So with that, I think I am going to open it up for questions. I think Sarah and Kirby, you guys have been monitoring questions, right?
Yeah. Hey, fantastic job, Sean.
Yeah,
that was really amazing.
Thank you.
So Sarah, do you want to ask the first question there?
So yeah, the first question is Byldr compatible with Quest HTC, and can we build WebXR with it?
So not WebXR yet, but that is on the roadmap. So right now, Byldr supports the HoloLens 2, and it also supports Oculus Quest 1 and 2. On our roadmap, we do have other devices that we're looking to support. We've seen this is the HTC Bifocus up there. I don't know if you can see it. And then, of course, headsets via Steam VR, Windows Mixed Reality headsets. Those are not, Byldr is not yet compatible with those. We're still working on a couple things, but they are on the roadmap.
Excellent.
So yeah, just to clarify, it works on HoloLens 2 and Oculus Quest 1 and 2 for right now.
Well, yeah, and it's great to hear that WebXR is on the roadmap.
Yeah, I'm really excited about WebXR. That's another. Yeah, man, there's just so many exciting things in XR. You've got OpenXR, we've got WebXR, and all the things that they open up. And like I mentioned earlier, the industry is moving fast, and we've got all these exciting things. So yeah, when our engineers are hard at work solving all the hard stuff, so that you don't have to worry about that.
Awesome. Well, next up, does Byldr have tactile feedback when attached with hand gloves?
Hand gloves, we don't have hand gloves yet, but if that is a feature request, I would definitely love to know that. If there are hand glove SDKs that you'd like us to support for Tactile, that's definitely something that we can add to our roadmap. We do have a public GitHub page for feedback collection, so bug reports, feature requests, enhancements, UX suggestions. And so, yeah, we're looking for we collect a lot of feedback, and yeah, we'd love to hear kind of what the industry is looking for and what's important to people.
So Sean, does the platform support like third-party plugins?
Not yet. That is a big item on our roadmap. That's
Okay.
one I'm actually very excited about. As you can imagine, that's much more hefty of an undertaking.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yes, my vision is, and everyone on the team is actually excited about this. We want to offer a way for developers to create third-party plugins for Byldr and be able to exchange them or even sell them on our Byldr web portal right now, and assets and plugins as well.
Awesome.
So next up, we have Julia from NovaBee. Can you talk more about the animation capabilities? Can you use it to create the animations? And if so, do the 3D models need to be pre-rigged, or what type of animations can you create?
So right now, our animation system is really basic, really easy to use. So if you don't have a 3D model that already has animations in it, what you can do is you can do simple animations. Like if you have a boat, you can make the boat kind of go around on a water. Or if you have, let's say, a wind turbine and you've got the propellers or the blades kind of as a separate 3D model, you can have that rotated. You can have things grow. You can kind of, let's say, have a train set go around a train track. If you have a single 3D model that you're wanting to change different parts of it, we don't support that yet. So that's something that's on the roadmap. We don't have like a timeline editor yet, so that's something on the roadmap as well. But if you bring in a single 3D model, you can definitely just use your hands to kind of animate that. You just record an animation. You can record multiple animations for a single object. If you want to emulate, let's say if you have a bird that you want it to kind of like flap its wings, you could import that as kind of 3 different parts, the bird and then one of each wings, and then you can actually animate the wings flapping. And then, so you can do things like that. But yeah, that's our animation capability right now is fairly basic, but that's something that, again, each of the feature areas that we have right now can definitely be infinitely expanded. And so we've got quite an exciting roadmap ahead.
I have another question for you, Sean.
Yeah.
So when you complete your prototype or your build, what is the final asset? How do we get to it?
Yeah, so when you finish your build, so actually our builds are called builds, BYLD. So when you finish your build, there's a couple options. One is you can share your PIN number with anybody else on Byldr, and they can download Byldr, enter in your PIN number, and then they will enter in your application in play mode. So they won't be able to edit your application, but they'll be able to experience your application. You can also request both in-app and on our web portal, you can request it to be sent to you as an APK or an AppX. So if you request, let's say, an APK, then we'll send you the APK file, and then you can load that onto your Oculus Quest, let's say, or you can distribute that. And then the AppX is the equivalent for the HoloLens too.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I think we have another question just came in.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the pricing structure?
Pricing structure. Yeah. So let me show. See, my screen is still being shared right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So pricing structure. So free to start out with. So we do have a free tier. So anybody can go on, create a free account on Byldr. And you can start creating right away. And then we kind of have two monthly subscription models that give you access to different things. For example, if you want to have a lot of APKs created, a lot of AppX, getting a basic subscription or a pro subscription would give you access to that. This particular screenshot I'm showing is not the latest, so there are also some other paid features. I didn't show, none of the features I showed today were paid features, but there are all the time we're kind of adding some advanced features that with a basic or a pro subscription, it'll unlock some of those advanced features, primarily, especially around the cloud features, because the cloud services, AI services they're not free. Those are things that you would have to, we pay for, so therefore the subscribers would also pay for. So go ahead.
Apologies for interrupting. Just Earl asked a question right about cloud services. Excuse me. What are the Byldr, or sorry, for the free and Byldr basic levels? What are the different cloud services, and what are you using there?
Yeah, so right now we have Azure voice speech to text recognition. So if you wanted to have any speech to text for Oculus Quest or HoloLens 2, we use Azure for that. We don't have this right now, but later on we will add other things like image recognition, Azure spatial anchors, and then of course stuff like the Bing Maps SDK. After you exceed a certain usage, then that will you'll have a limit on usage for the free tier, but an increased limit on Byldr Basic and Byldr Pro. Again, not all the details are on here, so definitely send me a message and I can follow up with you on some of the more details on the limits.
Fantastic. Yeah. So if anyone on the stream, if you have questions, we're going to be open here for another 5 to 10 minutes. So feel free to type those in.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
I'm curious about, you mentioned having the ability to collaborate on builds, which is really awesome. Is there a limit to the number of people you can have collaborating on one build?
So actually, see, this should have been on the pricing list, but I don't. Again, this is not the most current pricing list. But yeah, for under the free tier, for multi-user applications, including collaborative building, you can have up to 15 people at the same time. Sorry, up to 2 users per. I just wanted to make sure. I do need to double check on it, but yeah, it does go up from 15 up to 100, and then if you want a custom number of multiplayer services, then we can definitely help you with that as well. But yeah, you get up to 15 free, and then beyond that, you have to have a subscription if you want more than that.
Yeah, that's pretty generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there like school teachers looking at this? Have you got feedback from them?
Yeah, so we currently have a partnership with University of Houston, and they are actually doing a one of their big complaints, and actually this is something I've heard from a lot of different schools and universities is, hey, we recognize that XR is the next big thing, but right now you have to be a software engineer to get in. Otherwise, if you're anything else, the barriers are pretty high, right? And so University of Houston has brought that to our attention as a big need. So they're actually doing a course that's built upon Byldr. So a lot of their students in that course will leverage Byldr to look at how do you design UI UX, based on how it follows you, what's the proper sizing of menus, proper interaction models, what do 3D models look like when you import them in, kind of how do you build up this experience, focusing less on the software side and more on the experiential side as well is key. But yeah, our team has been speaking with quite a number of universities, and we keep hearing the same thing. As far as like elementary school teachers, we haven't interacted with too many of those yet, but I do anticipate that something like Byldr could definitely be helpful for that level as well, elementary, high school, and so forth.
Awesome.
Is it possible to do custom coding with Byldr?
Not yet. So it is on our roadmap to have some more advanced. So you can do kind of logic, but not text-based coding. So there's kind of three levels of scripting, right? One is kind of purely visual scripting. so not text-based scripting, but visual scripting. So we have a form of visual scripting where you can kind of connect things. You'll actually see a line like, hey, I want this cube to do this thing. Or I want this 3D model to do this thing. And you'll see a line connecting them for triggers. And then, of course, the next level of that, which I'm excited about, is kind of more advanced visual scripting, something like Blockly. I don't know if you've heard of that, but there's kind of more advanced visual scripting. And then, of course, having a custom text-based code editor for power users behind the scenes. Those are things that are on our roadmap, but not yet available in Byldr right now.
Yeah, I think that was maybe Daniel's question, the next one there.
Yes, indeed. With working in Unity, you can do a lot in the UI and never touch your keyboard, but eventually you might have to crack open Visual Studio and tweak a script. Will that ever happen with Byldr?
Will that ever happen with Byldr? I guess if you want it to happen, you can. Right now it can't happen because you can't open Visual Studio. But yeah, as I mentioned in answering the previous question, it is on our roadmap to expose the ability to tweak the actual code, for power users. I'm also a big believer in both making things simple, but making them highly customizable. And to do both can be quite challenging. I always get so frustrated when I'm, in a vehicle or having a device. I'm like, why isn't there an option to just turn this off? Or, why don't you give me that option? So, definitely we're pushing for having kind of the ability for advanced users to go in behind the scenes and make some custom tweaks, some custom script tweaks as well. But yeah, it's currently on the roadmap.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
So I think, go ahead, Sarah.
Nope, after you, Kirby, go ahead.
Okay, I think we're just about ready to close things up here. Earl had one more question. It looks like integrated pass-through. Or Quest 2.
Have I heard when Oculus Quest 2 will support integrated pass-through? No, but I'm sure even if I did, I might not be able to tell you. I do know that it is coming. But yeah, right now, of course, you can only do it in the shell. So you can do that. You tap twice on the headset and you can see the pass-through. There's the pass-through mode in your home menu. But for developers to actually turn that on in the app, that's not available yet for you to forcefully turn it on. And having kind of AR, putting your own content on top of the pass-through is not available yet. I do know it's coming, but I don't know when it's coming.
Great.
Gotcha.
Great. All right.
Awesome.
Well, I want to just very quickly thank everybody on the stream for all the awesome questions and sticking around with us tonight. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Got a lot of great content on there. And we have Sean's information. Maybe you want to pop that up really quickly one more time, just in case anybody needs to copy that.
Actually, that is not on my share, so I'll put it on
Sean's
real
got it.
quick. Give me just a second.
Yeah, do you see that on my slide here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitter or shoot me a message, connect with me on LinkedIn, and then also stay tuned for the Byldr training session if you're interested in doing that. We're going to have a party in MR Expo. So come hang out. There's going to be lots of people, avatars walking around, chatting with each other, and we'll do a Byldr training session during that time as well. Or you can just come for the party and and leave before the training.
All right. Thanks.
Excellent.
Thanks very much, Sean. And
All right, thank you guys.
I think let's head over to our last little slide there about Seattle VR Association. Yes. So you have our information for both Sarah and myself. So if you're interested in finding out the details and what the association has to offer, get in touch with one of us or both of us. We'd love to hear feedback on our events. And if you have suggestions for future events or you want to give a presentation, just give us a holler. So, Sean, thanks very much. Everybody, Happy New Year, and stay safe. And I think we're ready to sign off for the evening.
Thank you,
Happy
everyone.
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.